Yo, so welcome back to Spin Cycle, our brand new YouTube channel. If you're just here for the first time, we created this basically on a whim, basic idea that me and a friend of mine came up with, where we could have a platform to speak with people on a number of topics, as well as covering lots of art forms. And it's my honor today to start off the first Spin Cycle album review.
What's that? Oh, what is you tuntu?
And today we'll be talking about Jay Rox's brand new album, Scar, which came out on March the 1st this year. Now, Scar is an album that Jay Rox announced early in 2019, and I saw a couple of interviews where he was giving the basic concept. He was talking about how in many of the stories, the villain is almost always overlooked, or you don't necessarily pay attention to the story of the villain, and how he's going to use this album to kind of portray that idea. And it was really interesting for me to see how he was going to pull that off. Now, when it comes to Jay Rox himself, he's a rather polarizing figure. He tends to hit or miss in almost equal amount, but I believe that whether you do like his music or you don't vibe with it, what you cannot argue is that he is talented. Ever since he did split from hip-hop group Zone Fam, many thought it would actually be the end of all their careers, but I do think, and you guys can debate with me on this, but I do think he did carry those guys on his back for quite a while.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
And I think he's done pretty well for himself as a hip-hop artist. Scar will be his 5th studio album, and so I believe you cannot really argue with Jay Rox's work rate. He's somebody that's been very consistent in terms of delivery, in terms of quality of music, and Scar is no different from that. I've already covered his brilliant artwork. The album is about 22 tracks long and plays out over a period of 1 hour and 18 minutes. But I do believe the album is perfectly curated. It talks about positivity almost all the way throughout the album, and I feel that's something that is definitely important in today's music, in today's world. I feel like there's too much emphasis nowadays on what artist is better than the other or who's at the top, and I feel Jay Rox is somebody that has been somewhere there in the conversation at almost any given point.
No, not you, Seamus.
But I believe Jay Rox is someone who should be in that conversation, and this album is further proved. I believe it has so many facets, so many layers to it that makes it an actual good listen from start to finish, and I think that's a positive for Zambian hip-hop, for hip-hop in general. And the concept of the album, there's songs like Green Light with Slap D, and I believe that's one of the best tracks on the album. But with this album, Jay Rox has been able to cement his legacy rather than try and shoot for the top or try and claim that he's the best hip hop artist or the best rapper in the country. I believe this was more about him cementing his legacy. What will people remember him for? Everybody should give this album at least a listen. I would like to go a lot more in depth on every single piece in the album, but there isn't enough time. We don't want to make these videos too long or too boring, but I do recommend that you give it a listen of the whole message that make this such a good listen, that make this such a wonderful journey from start to finish. So overall, the album is perfectly crafted, I believe. It does have an added factor of an international mix, as well as quite a number of local acts that don't actually quite overpower each other. I feel like the features are quite nicely laced. We've got about 7 international acts that include Victoria Kimani of Kenya, you've got Joe Makini from Kenya, you've also got Soundboy, you've got Jay Martins from Nigeria, as well as on the local side, you've got artists. You've got Nez Long, he's got Pompey on the album, he has a mega feature with Slap D, my favorite feature, which is with his son. He's also got a track with Trina South, and I believe each of these tracks is able to tackle either a part of Jay Rox's life or a phase that he's had to go through, what some of the lessons he's had to learn. So there's, like I said, a perfect blend of feels on the album as a whole. There's tracks that I do believe, once they're given enough radio play, are going to be big. So overall, I'd give the album a score of 7.5 out of 10. I'd give it an 8, but there's issues with, basically, I'm not a big fan of how long it is. I also believe some of the tracks could have been shortened, or maybe some could actually have been prolonged. But I do believe this is a rather solid album from a Zambian artist, and I think arguably the best hip hop album that's come out in 2020 in terms of Zambian music. Well, but then again, this is room for debate, and I'd like to hear from you what you think about the album if you've heard it. If you haven't, I really recommend you do. There are at least 7 songs that were released on YouTube for free. You can stream those. You can also stream the album on any of your favorite streaming platforms. So, get back to us, have this discussion with us, and tell us who you'd like us to review up next. There are a lot of budding artists that I know that I personally want to either interview or just talk about their music, their art, and these in no particular order include upcoming artists like C3. We're going to be talking about Beck Zeller's music. Killer just dropped an album yesterday, I believe, or a few days ago, and that is what I'm currently listening to. That's currently, I feel, a brilliant piece of work. So if you've stuck around for the entirety of this video, I appreciate you very much. Please do your best to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video with as many of your friends as possible, and help us get to at least double the number of subscribers by the next time. Thank you, and